Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so if you're running a food factory, today's topic is absolutely crucial. We're diving deep into WSFM's commercial dim sum and dumpling machinery. But don't worry, we are definitely not just going to sit here and read a dry spec sheet to you. No way. We're going to translate all those dense, highly technical machine parameters directly into clear, actionable business decisions. Basically, if you're trying to figure out exactly what equipment you need to scale up your production, this analysis is going to help you make a seriously informed choice. Let's get right into it.
Making that leap from small-scale manual labor to industrial, automated production, man, that is arguably the most critical business leap a food brand will ever make. It's super exciting, but let's be honest, it's also kind of terrifying, right? You're dealing with high variable labor costs, you've got inconsistent product quality, maybe the dumplings on a Tuesday look totally different from the ones made on a Friday, and there's a strict hard ceiling on how much you can actually produce by hand. We know you're ready to scale, but the real question is, how do you pick the exact right tool to ensure you scale profitably without losing the actual soul of your product?
Well, just take a look at this massive number, 240. That's 240 pieces per minute. Specifically, that is the maximum output of WSFM's GQ3ZJ, which is their 3-lane dumpling machine. I just want you to visualize that for a quick second. In just one single hour, that's 14,400 perfectly formed dumplings. For a buyer, this isn't just about machine speed. This translates directly to crushing your daily quota, having the capacity to take on massive new wholesale accounts, and ultimately giving a huge boost to your bottom line. But, speed really isn't the only metric that matters here.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering decoding machine capacity, precision in every bite, electrical specs explained, customizing your setup, and prioritizing machine safety.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, decoding machine capacity.
Let's actually look at the numbers. We've got the 2-lane GQ2ZJ model pushing out 140 to 160 pieces per minute, and that uses 8.1 kilowatts of total power. Then, you step up to the 3-lane GQ3ZJ, which cranks out an incredible 200 to 240 pieces per minute using 8.5 kilowatts. So here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. By upgrading from a 2-lane to a 3-lane system, you're boosting your yield by roughly 50%. But your electrical power consumption, it only increases by this tiny, marginal fraction, literally just 0.4 kilowatts. From a purchasing perspective, that is a wildly efficient return on investment when you're looking at your daily utility costs.
But when you're buying, you really have to look beyond just the raw output. Take a look at the physical specs. We're talking a net weight of up to 1,450 kilograms and a required air source of 0.7 megapascals. What does that actually mean for you on the factory floor? Well, it means these machines need dedicated, serious industrial infrastructure. You have to verify that your facility has reinforced flooring that can handle a 1.4-ton footprint, and you absolutely need industrial-grade pneumatic compressors ready to go. You aren't just buying a fancy kitchen gadget here. You're integrating a heavy-duty industrial node into your factory.
Moving right along to Section 2, precision in every bite. Let's talk about the commercial gyoza machine, the GQ2GT. If your brand promises a hearty 35-gram pot sticker, this machine guarantees strict portion control. The specs dial in a wrapper weight of exactly 12 to 14 grams, perfectly paired with a generous 21 to 23 grams of filling. Because let's face it, nobody likes a dumpling that's 90% dough. This proves that stepping up to automation doesn't mean you have to compromise your family recipe. For you as the buyer, this translates to drastically lowered ingredient waste because you aren't overportioning anymore, and absolute rock-solid consistency for your customers, bite after delicious bite.
And the internal architecture tells us exactly how they achieve that level of precision. WSFM uses an advanced full servo driving system controlled by an IPC controller. This totally replaces those older, clunky mechanical cams. It means the filling weight is controlled digitally via an imported reducer. So, what's the real takeaway here? It means you don't have to shut down the entire production line, open up the machine, and manually tweak mechanical parts with a wrench just to change a portion size. You get incredible stability, and your day-to-day operation and maintenance just get drastically easier.
Now, let's see how this builds into operational flexibility. Right there on the touchscreen, your operators have immense control. See this stir speed setting? The manuals actually note that if your factory is running a highly viscous, super sticky, or generally challenging fill that just doesn't want to flow right, you can easily bump up that auger stir speed to 20 or 25 right on the screen. As a buyer, this is exactly what you want, equipment that adapts to your unique recipes, not the other way around.
Okay, Section 3, electrical specs explained.
I want to just boldly state the underlying business benefit of reviewing the electrical configuration table. It really boils down to your reliability, your ease of maintenance, and ultimately achieving zero production downtime. Because buying a cheap machine with obscure parts, that's going to cost you thousands when it inevitably breaks, and you're suddenly stuck waiting 3 weeks for a replacement component to ship across the globe.
When you look at the WSFM spec sheets, you'll see a very specific roster of international premium proxy brands. We're talking servos from Innovans, switches from Schneider, cylinders from AirTac, reducers from Zinbo. For a purchasing manager, seeing this guarantees that if a component naturally wears out or fails, replacement parts can be sourced globally, locally, and almost instantly. You aren't locked into some proprietary, hard-to-find ecosystem. This strategically protects your production schedule and, of course, your profit margins.
Next up, Section 4. Customizing your setup.
So WSFM offers a really robust menu of optional configurations. You could add a conveyor, dumpling shrinking device, or maybe swap out the outfeed mechanisms for an adjustable length or drawer-type telescopic tailstock. You can even integrate the whole thing seamlessly with tray arranging machines. Why does all this matter? Because you are buying a modular solution. You can configure the exact outfeed mechanism you need to perfectly drop your dumplings or shumai right onto your existing freezing lines or packaging belts, and you can do it without having to knock down walls and redesign your entire factory floor.
And honestly, even with these modular additions in their full form, the presses, the conveyors, the hoppers, the whole shebang, they maintain an incredibly smart, space-saving vertical footprint. In a crowded commercial kitchen or a really bustling food factory, floor space is premium real estate. These designs ensure you are maximizing your yield per square meter, which is exactly what we want.
Finally, we have Section 5, Prioritizing Machine Safety. Now, we absolutely have to talk about safety, and the operation manuals are crystal clear about this. They highlight the turntable and the pushing and filling mechanisms as critical danger zones. These areas feature rapid pneumatic cylinders and electric actuators. As a buyer and a business owner, seeing this translates into a strict mandate for you. You must implement rigorous operator training regarding these anti-pinch zones. You absolutely cannot have operators putting their hands anywhere near these parts while the machine is running. Safety first, for sure.
In fact, the manual outlines explicit maintenance steps required during a shift if dough or debris needs clearing. Step 1, you have to stop the machine completely. Step 2, press the emergency stop button to lock it out. Only then, Step 3, safely clean the debris from the turntable. Maximizing your machine's ROI requires a safe, uninjured, and confident operating team. Good equipment is designed with safety in mind, sure, but it requires your active management to actually enforce it on the floor. All right, let's bring it all together and summarize the core value proposition we've been unpacking in this explainer. If you stick with manual labor, you're essentially locked into high variable costs, quality that wavers depending on who is working the shift, and a severe limit on your growth. But by transitioning to automated machinery like the WSFM models we just analyzed, you are looking at a fixed, reliable investment, you achieve mathematically precise portions, zero recipe compromise, and a massive, scalable yield that can hit upwards of 14,000 pieces an hour. It's really a game changer.
And that brings us to the end. I want to leave you with this final thought. Take a hard look at your daily quotas. Evaluate your factory's floor space and your utility capacity. Review your recipe requirements. So, which machine fits your factory's future? Armed with this translated spec data, you're now ready to confidently select the perfect model to scale your dim sum empire. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy scaler!